Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, what is up? So in this video, I'm going to review the 3 big lessons that I learned in 2015. I'm just leaving a Entrepreneurs Org event in Toronto. You can see around me probably in the background, there's a lot of snow and it's cold. So on my drive back, let's go over these 3 items without further ado. First thing, there's going to be a couple more new things going on this channel going forward. It's not just going to be about entrepreneurship and cars. I'll probably always talk about that. But the general theme really is about just being better. Just being better than what you were before. And as part of that, I think self-care plays a huge role in becoming a better version of yourself. Nobody's going to be perfect. It would be incredibly annoying and frustrating if everybody was perfect, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with being a better version of what you were the day before. And self-care is a big part of that. I've done really well over the years with mastering nutrition and fitness, you know, along the sense of working out. I've sucked at things like meditation. It's something I want to get better at, which I haven't quite figured out, but I will be working on it. I guess it's part of my whole ADD nature. It's hard for me to focus. But my one big takeaway, like the one big game changer that made a huge difference for me last year in the self-care category, was intermittent fasting. And there's tons of research that's been done on that. There's an excellent TED Talk, which I'll look to find, and I'll put it in the description of the video below. It's definitely worth watching. But the implications, like what you get out of intermittent fasting, is phenomenal. You know, you hear some people talking about the benefits of it along the lines of leaning out and reducing fat and you know, the cosmetic results of it. But if I'm being completely honest, it didn't make that big of a difference for me. I'm already fairly lean, so it didn't change my body composition a whole lot. But what I found it made a big difference on was along the lines of mental focus and clarity. And I sometimes struggle with staying focused on a task and being very effective and efficient with it. And what I found was, with intermittent fasting, the way that it works is you basically have your last meal before you go to bed. For me, it would be like a casein protein smoothie. And if you don't know what casein protein is, very slow release protein, weighs more of a fast release you use after a workout. So I'd have that at bedtime, wake up in the morning around 5:30, 6 a.m., and I wouldn't eat anything. My first meal would be around noon. So when I got up, I'd have maybe like a black coffee and, you know, some water. I'd go for a workout, and my next where the hell am I going? No, not there yet. And my next meal would be at noon. Sorry guys, I don't edit my videos. I just go quickly like this. So that was a big game changer for me. It did make a big difference in clarity and focus. I got so much more shit done. I'd encourage you to take a look at it. Watch the TED Talk, and if you're interested in how it might lean out your body, it does have benefits there. That's not why I did it. I was looking for ways to basically shake things up for me, right? Because I've basically been at the same self-care regimen for quite a while. So I found that there was a tremendous benefits from the mental clarity standpoint. So that's the first thing. The second huge lesson, this is probably the biggest lesson for me that I learned last year, and it was the concept of listening to your intuition. And I failed this miserably throughout my life, if I'm being honest. Okay, like I have sucked ass at listening to my intuition. And every time, and I swear, every single time I don't listen to it, I get screwed somehow. And I'm 42 years old. If I could encourage you to do anything differently this year in 2016, or ever, I mean, I make my videos as an evergreen type of content, so this will be relevant 10 years from now. If there's anything that you can do that'll have a great impact on your life, is listening to your intuition. Let me give you some examples. It doesn't matter what you call it. It could be gut feel, listening to your heart, that little voice in the back of your head. It's all the same shit. You know, for me in the past, you sometimes hear these little voices on the back of your head. It's like, in cartoons when you're a kid, like good guy, bad guy, voices on your shoulder, kind of reasoning, the thought behind it. That's intuition. When your gut tells you something, that's intuition. What your heart tells you, that's intuition. All of those things are intuition. It's something you need to listen to. It's below the neck. Okay, fuck what goes on in your head. That's that's a logical thinking part. That certainly plays a role in developing, planning, executing, and things like that. But generally speaking, if we're talking about intuition and listening to your gut, it's everything below the neck. It's bit me in the ass in partnership deals, in relationships that I've taken on in the past, in decision making, when I've heard that little voice in the back of my head, and you hear it, you recognize it, you kind of nod off to it, but you go and do what you say you were going to do anyway. And then you learn what happens at the end of the day, right? I've seen it happen in relationships where I've gotten into relationships with the wrong person. There might be components or parts of that relationship that you love, that you adore. It could be the physical attraction. Maybe she's got great tits and ass, whatever it might be. But that does not fucking matter, because at the end of the day, if you engage in relationships, and I'm talking about partnerships and, romantic ones. I mean, I've been in partnerships where my intuition has said, why are you in business with this guy? And the guy that I'm engaged in is doing cocaine at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday. I mean, that there alone, not listening to things like that is entirely stupid, and pursuing a business relationship with somebody like that is a total colossal waste of your time and resources. Same thing with women, and relationships. You can make money and you can lose money. You just can't make time, okay? Wasting your time with people is fucking huge. And it always comes, for me anyway, my lesson was, it always comes from me not listening to my intuition. You just can't make up time. I made a video in, I think, October, November, and I'll put a card or an annotation up here somewhere, with a real estate investment. And I haven't released it until today because the house just went like about a week ago. It closed, but I lost $56,000. I can make that money back, okay? I can't make fucking time back, I've wasted time in business partnerships and relationships with people, and especially women, where somebody once told me, he goes, the first time somebody shows you who they really are, listen to it. And I have not listened to my intuition. I've swept it under the rug, and it's always come back to bite me in the butt later on. And the cost as time goes on in business partnerships and in relationships with people, and especially that of the opposite sex that are romantic, where you get engaged and you've vested your time, are huge. The exit to that is huge. So listening to your intuition earlier on, paying attention to it, surrendering to it, and honoring it. I can't say that I won't be doing it again. I'm certainly more aware of it. I'm paying closer attention to it. I'll give you a very valuable tool and resource. There's a guy by the name of Philip McKernan, and I'll put it up as a annotation on the video for you. I think it's just philipmckernan.com. Has some great YouTube videos and has done some talks. I encourage you to check them out. If you're serious about listening to your intuition, or if you've recognized in the past that your gut has told you something that you haven't listened to, and you're like, why the fuck do I keep doing this, and shooting myself in the foot, I want you to pay attention to it. Intuition will be a game changer. It will make the difference. It will save you time. Like I said, you can lose money. You can make it up quite easily. Time you can't. Once that grain of sand has fallen through the hourglass, that's it, folks. Okay, guys, and the third thing is not allowing yourself to get stuck. What do I mean by that? There's been times in my life where I've felt stuck. Like, I felt powerless, or I felt like I didn't know where I wanted to go, or I needed to sit back and kind of let things sink in and then work through them later on. Last year I felt stuck for two reasons. I felt stuck because of some things that were going on in my business that I'm now taking an active role in, and coaching people through on certain things that I've really just allowed to happen. So shame on me for that. I've also been stuck when a 3-year relationship ended for me at the end of last summer. And I'll be honest, it took me several months, 4 or 5 months, to try to work myself through it. And I'd let myself get stuck for the better part of last year, which is, again, a waste of my time. You can make up money, you can make up other things quite easily, but you can't make up time. Once time passes, it's gone forever, and I let it happen. I recognized it. Letting yourself get stuck in a shitty job, in a shitty relationship, in a shitty business partnership, anything where, you know, there's always two states in the universe. My dad always used to tell me when I was a kid, you know, things are either growing or dying, Richard. He goes, they can never stay put. It's the same thing with nature. You see trees growing or they're dying. Everything in life is either moving forward or it's dying. You cannot tread water forever. It is probably the worst thing that you can do. If you recognize, and I recognize myself now, that when I get stuck, I got to move a lot faster. You know, letting myself dwell and, you know, try to, I mean, like one of the problems that I have, and you might resonate with this, is I tend to overanalyze things and try to learn from them. And, you know, when I get stuck, I'll go and read research papers and watch YouTube videos from experts and talk to people and do things like that to try to understand what had happened so I could try to avoid it going forward in the future. But the truth of the matter is, going back to my second point, if you just listen to your intuition more, you're probably not going to get stuck as much. So when you get stuck, don't allow yourself to sit there and continue being stuck. Do something, fucking anything, other than sit there stuck for weeks and months on end. There's a point in time where you need to kind of sit and surrender to it and own it. And I've talked about surrendering and owning before. You can check out other videos on that. But once you've recognized and surrendered to that point, start moving. Do something. Even if it's not exactly what you want to do, find a new fucking hobby. Go to the gym. Pick up weights. Do something that gets your brain thinking, you know? I'll give you an example. You know, I've been stuck in my business conditioning, and I've been looking for a new business. So one of the things that I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start paying attention to lists that I come across, like top 40 under 40, the 50 fastest growing companies in Canada for the last 2 years, the 200 fastest growing companies, you know, over the last 5 years, as far as revenue goes. There's clues there for me to pay attention to, for great business ideas, to condition my mind. Doing things like going to the gym or playing games like Luminosity or reading some books are all great to try to fill the space. But you have to actually do things that drive you towards your goals. And I haven't done that. So those are my 3 big lessons. Again, intermittent fasting played a huge role in focus for me. Getting obviously unstuck as quickly as possible. Actually, just to share one more story, I have a very, very dear, close friend of mine that's done exceptionally well over the last number of years in his business. And through a couple of bad choices, he had regulators basically seize everything. This is a guy that had a number of supercars, a great lifestyle, shitloads of money, beautiful house and all that thing. It's all gone. He has gone from hero down to zero. And I met with him the other day, and this happened for him about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I am so happy for him, because he's in a place where he's just smiling because he's fucking doing things to go and create something new. He hasn't sat around and moped about it and whined and complained about it. This is a massive shift for him, a complete 180 to go from hero to complete zero. He's picking himself back up and finding new things to go forward. So look for, if you're stuck, look for people like that. You know, buy him lunch, have a conversation with him. When I had lunch with him the first time, he sat down, I'm like, what are you going to get? And he goes, I don't have any money to buy lunch. I'm like, fuck off. You know, we're going to order you this. I got lunch for you today. Buy them lunch, you know. Find people out there and connect with them. Okay? So first thing is, obviously, intermittent fasting. Don't let yourself get stuck. And if you do get stuck, start moving, doing something very quickly. And then the other thing was, of course, you want to make sure that you listen to your intuition. 3 very important lessons that I learned in 2015. I'd love to hear from you guys what you learned in 2015 as far as a big aha lesson for you. Throw it in the comments of the video below. If you have any special requests for a video you'd like to see me record, throw that in the comments below as well. Thank you for checking out the channel. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, of course. It's just Entrepreneurs in Cars. Have an awesome, guys. Peace!